Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast. Today's video I am going to be reviewing the Manchester United Brighton game. A very good game between two sides that were definitely going for it, and I think a lot of mistakes, especially on Brighton's side. Let's get my thoughts and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Straight away, I do actually think this result really flattered Brighton. I think this game could have been 5 or 6-0, 5 or 6-1 to Manchester United. To me, that's what this game sort of showed. Verbruggen had to make a lot of good saves. They could have made more of the chances, even Man United. And I thought overall they were excellent and they got their tactics pretty much spot on. I thought they struggled in the first 10 minutes. Manchester United wanted to see a bit more of an attacking mindset, really get the crowd behind. But I thought after the disallowed penalty, which I thought was a penalty, wasn't given, I thought United really started to look like the better side. That sort of got them into action. And in the past for Manchester United, you may have not seen this. And I think this is the sort of response you want to see from a Manchester United side in the last 10 years that maybe you wouldn't have seen. In the preview for this game, I really actually talked about how I actually thought Brighton could win this because of United's sort of inability to back up wins in the past. There are a lot of examples of this. One of the big examples, just to show sort of how long this has been a problem, was sort of around 7 years ago when when City were about to win the title, and United came from 2-0 down and managed to win 3-2, but then they lost to West Brom the next week, and that sort of gave City the title, and that's sort of what United would have done in the past. They would have won away at Anfield and then lost this game, but they found a way to win. We also saw that adversity, I think, at Anfield when it went to 1-0, and then they really stepped up after that. So for me, that's really good signs for Manchester United. And after they got that Cunha goal, which was a brilliant finish, Brighton started to make a lot more mistakes. I thought Belieber had a really poor game, especially, and Ayari. And I do wonder if it's a bit with Belieber, sort of frustration that he's not playing for Manchester United. But I haven't been that impressed with Belieber this season. I don't think his head's really in the game. I thought he was so much better last year. Hurts has been hooking him at half time. And look, he may turn United away from signing him. I think he's a very good player, sort of player United needs, but he has to be playing better than this. Casemiro's goal was lucky, but it was from a build-up of pressure and a build-up of mistakes from Brighton in that midfield and in defence, just giving the ball away. The Brian Mbeumo goal, similar. Very good goal, lost in that midfield. Is that a foul by Luke Shaw? 100%. But the referee was so poor to Anthony Taylor, but he was poor for both sides at least. And Michael Oliver on VAR was useless as usual, but it was mistakes from both sides, and it was a very nice finish by Brian Mbeumo, and Mbeumo could have had more goals. Bruno Fernandes played well today, someone that had been largely critical in the past, but I thought he was very good today in that deeper role. He gave, he teed up Mbeumo a couple of times, and I really think United could have had more goals, which I think is a good sign. They won it back on the press. Jean-Paul Van Hekken made lots of mistakes, and I think Hurts has got to look at this and go, we're not adaptable enough. And I've had this issue with Brighton. I don't think they're adaptable enough away from home. At home, those sort of tactics do work, but away from home, you get yourselves into these sort of issues. And I think that is why Brighton really didn't sort of stand a chance into this game. In fairness to them, once they got that Welbeck goal, and look, is that a foul? No. I don't think that's a foul by Dorgu that leads to a free kick. And if it is, it's actually a red card. So he's had two absolute horror calls there, Anthony Taylor. It was a decent free kick from Welbeck. Lamans, in my opinion, should be getting there. I think Lamans has made an excellent start to Manchester United. I think they look so much more competent with him on the pitch, but he should have been getting there. And Kostulas with a very good header. Xerxes, though, should be competing better in the air. And this gave Brighton a chance, but to be honest, if Brighton got anything from this game, it would have been a bit of a robbery, daylight robbery, that would have actually been based off what we saw, because, as I said, Brighton were poor. United were so much better today. So I'm now going to move on to some player ratings for Manchester United. So in goal, we've got Lamans. And I think Lamans, as I said, he could have done better on that first goal by Danny Welbeck. But overall, I thought he was pretty good. So I'm going to give him a 6. Luke Shaw, I don't like Luke Shaw at this left centre half. I thought he was decent. I thought Heaven was the better player to start. Again, I just can't quite understand this Luke Shaw selection. I just think he's distinctly average. I'd probably give Luke Shaw just a 6. I thought De Ligt was very good, and I've given De Ligt an 8. And Yoro I thought was good as well, and I've given him a 7. So overall, I thought the defence was pretty good. Then Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, I said I'll give him some credit today. I thought he was very good. I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes an 8. Casemiro as well, I thought was very good. Controlled that midfield, arguably Casemiro, which is not something you don't say. I thought he played very well. And I thought when Casemiro when Casemiro came off, United looked like a way worse side. So I do wonder, maybe Casemiro is starting to sort of get into his form. I think he's been better than people have been giving him sort of credit. I think Casemiro is a better player than people have said. I think he looks so much better with sort of a midfielder next to him. Do I still want to see Maino in this lineup? Yes, but I think today those two did well. I'm going to give Casemiro an 8 as well. Dalot, I thought he was just average. I'm going to give him a 6. I thought Dalot was just a decent player for Manchester United, and he could have been better. I really don't like that. This is the selection I don't like. Just play Dorgu. Dorgu's the more competent wingback. Ahmad, I thought he was a threat throughout. I love Ahmad and Mbeumo's combination, and that's going to be a big miss for when they go on to AFCON. And I'm going to give Ahmad a 7. Brian Mbeumo, I thought he was excellent today. I'm going to give him an 8. Cunha, I thought was actually even better. Cunha, to be honest, I thought Cunha just doing all those little things right, and he got his first goal. Very deserved goal, and I'm going to give Cunha a 9. Benjamin Sesko, I thought he was a brilliant target man today, really suited the system, and you can sort of see why Amorim wanted this option, the option to go long, the option to be adaptable, and I liked the signing. I thought it was a decent signing from Manchester United. I thought it was a better signing than like a Gyökeres, who I actually think Arsenal should have got Sesko, because I think he would have suited their system more. For Sesko, I'd give him an 8. I thought he was very good today, and overall, Rúben Amorim, I'm going to give him an 8 as well. I thought most of his selection was good. He justified a lot of his plays. He got the front three right today. Where I've been critical of him in that midfield, I thought it was very good today. And it's not his fault that they nearly threw it away. And if United threw that away, I mean, it would have just been really disaster. And overall, what I was really impressed with Manchester United was the fact that I thought they really showed that they can back up good performances. They hadn't won 2 games in a row in the Premier League last week. Now they've won 3. And I think they'll win the next one against Forest now. I've got a lot more confidence in Manchester United than I had before. I'm just going to go through some of the significant performances for Brighton. In goal for Bruggen. I know it says on Football we got 5.1. I thought he was one of Brighton's best players. I don't think he could have done a lot about the goals, and I think he made it stopped it being sort of 7 or 8 goals. That's how good I thought Bruggen was. The back for the Cooper, Dunk, Van Hecke and Weaver. I think this is due more to Hurts' system, but they're playing out for the back just was really poor, and that just put them under so much pressure. Ayari and Belieber I thought were awful today. Belieber is really, if anything, putting themselves at threat of getting that move to Manchester United. I thought Minte was superb, really was a threat. I think they could have really used, we're trying to get him more in behind. Kadioglu, considering he was sort of not playing maybe as a right back, which you'd see him more. I thought Kadioglu was decent. Welbeck obviously scored that free kick, and Ruta was just alright. Not great, but just a decent performance. He obviously was sort of at fault for that third goal. I personally thought it was a foul on Ruta, but overall I think the issue was with the system today. They need to be more pragmatic. They need to go long. You don't always have to play out from the back in football. It's a very new thing, this whole, every time you have the ball, it has to be with the feet. You can go long. You've got a target man in Welbeck. Welbeck can hold up the ball. Let me know your thoughts on this game, as well as Brighton and Manchester United's performances. What were your overall thoughts on United? Do you think they're back? I personally think they're on the right track to being not completely back, obviously, but I've got more confidence that they're going to win games than before. And if you enjoy this video, it'd be great if you could head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe.